What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. If you want to make my day a little bit better, I would really appreciate you going down and smashing that like button because it does help the YouTube algorithm. Today we're wrapping up one of the last few pieces to the whole QQQ Black representation series of videos that I've been doing. If you're interested into why I am doing this, you are free to go watch the intro on the first video, which the link will be, oh gosh, I did it again, up here. And if you enjoy this type of content, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get all the future videos. Today we're going over the healthcare sector, so let's get into the video. Welcome back, boys and girls. Hopefully that intro was riveting and you had a great time while you were away. But now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. So I'm just gonna go right into the grades. If you've never seen any of these videos before, I go off of a grading scale. So if you're trying to keep up and you wanna know what the grades actually mean, I'm going to put up the grading list or criteria over here. And then we're going to go through these companies. The first company is Amgen. They receive a D. The second company is Gilead. They receive a D. The third company is Vertex Pharma, and they receive a C. Following that, we have Intuitive Surgical, which receives an F. Following that, we have Regeneron Pharmaceuticals, which receives an F. Following that, we have Illumina, which receives an A. This is the highest grade that we've had on any of these series, so we're definitely most likely going to be going over that company in the long run, but I have two more companies to follow up with. The next company is IDEX Labs, which receives an F. And the last company is Cerner Corporation, which receives an F. So my pick here is pretty cut and dry. We're going to go with Illumina, and we're going to look to see if that is a good investment. So without further ado, let's get into the financials. What's up? Welcome back. If you wouldn't mind tossing me a like for that sick transition, that would be super helpful. Without further ado, let's head over to the desktop. All right, so now that we're on the desktop, let's go into the next important part of actually figuring out if this is a good company to value. In the last couple videos, I kind of cut this short because the companies were pretty well known and I didn't really want to go too in detail with the actual financial breakdown. But this company is going to be a lesser known company. I've heard of it before, but it's not necessarily a street wide name. Not everybody's running down the street knowing anything about Illumina. So the first thing I want to do before I ever look into a company is kind of understand on a very basic level what they do, how they make money, and what kind of space they actually operate in. If you ever come over to FinViz, which is the site I'm on, you just scroll down past all this and they have this little blurb in here above the insider buying and selling section that kind of tells you what the company is about. My synopsis of what the company actually does is they basically do gene editing and they work in the biotech space. I'm not a doctor or anything like that, so I don't know all the details about gene editing. I've just heard that it's going to be the next big leap when it comes to healthcare breakthroughs. So that means that it's in a space that's got a lot of potential to growth. So this is probably going to be a pretty overvalued company. So we're going into it knowing that mindset. The thing with growth companies is they're always going to be overvalued by any generic metric. The best thing we can do here is actually compare it to other companies that are in this similar space. Thankfully, I know a couple because I've heard a couple before. We're going to compare it to Editas and we're going to compare it to CRISPR. But first we have to know what we're comparing. So this is the part where I always grab my actual handy dandy notebook and I start writing down what I'm looking for. We're going to look at three specific metrics. We're going to look at the current market cap to see how big this company is and compared to other companies. The PE ratio, which is the price to earning ratio. This is a very generic term that is used across all stocks when you're talking about evaluating a company. That's going to be this one right here. A good rule of thumb for any company is you're looking for around 20, but it can be different based on the sector that you're actually talking about. So you got to compare companies to similar companies. That's how you're going to find an appropriate valuation. or if it's a company that's worth investing in. And then the following one we're going to look at is the PEG ratio and the price to sales ratio. So for Illumina, the market cap is 55 billion. The PE ratio is 58. The PEG ratio is 5.5 and the price to sales is 15.2. Then we're going to pull up CRISPR real quick. CRISPR is a smaller company. We're looking at a $4.8 billion company, so a lot smaller company. The PE ratio is 100, and then price to sales is 16.5, which is a lot closer to what Illumina's was. And then we're gonna head over to Editas. Again, this is another smaller company, and this has even less metrics than other companies. So these are gonna be more speculative plays than even Illumina is. $1.89 billion. Market cap, doesn't have a PE ratio, doesn't have a PEG ratio, and the price to sales is 78. We're talking about this one is extremely, so if we're gonna base this all off of price to sales, because that's what all these companies have, Editas is the most overvalued, followed by CRISPR, then followed by Illumina. So based on this, I kind of want to do a second part to this video. I'm gonna look into CRISPR's board of directors and see if they have proper Black representation, because I would love to invest in both companies here. So a good thing to take into account when you're looking into a sector that is as speculative as this sector is, because it hasn't been proven yet, nobody's really cracked it. We've gotten very minimal actual breakthroughs in this space, but we know that it's going to potentially be a really big space, is you don't want to put all of your money into one basket. So I'm going to look into CRISPR real quick to see if they have appropriate Black representation. If they do, I would love to pick up both of them in a small position to minimize my risk in the overall sector. And of course, I was out here really trying to make it work. I looked into CRISPR's board of directors and their leadership team, and they receive a D at best. I was really trying to squint my eyes and make it look like, well, they might have some Black people. You know, I don't really know that person's background. But at the end of the day, they don't have the proper Black representation that I'm looking for. So it's going to be a D for me when it comes to CRISPR. So our only potential investment into this space is going to be Illumina, but it does look like Illumina is the best valued out of all the companies. So with that being said, I hope this video was informative. I kind of went a little bit more into the financials because I feel like that's something that's not really talked about. And without further ado, I hope you guys have a great day. Peace. Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe.